I've always found on many previous trips to Tibet that it's a much nicer thing to have different people on the trip with different aspirations and different things to do, i.e. not everyone trying to climb a mountain. On this occasion, we've been very lucky to have Julian Cooper along as an artist with his own agenda, most especially Mount Kailash, and I think he's the preeminent contemporary artist when it comes to looking at mountain faces. This trip was to the area of Tibet called the Gangdesi Mountains. Now, the Gangdesi is a general term actually for the Kailash ranges, which Kailash is at the western end. And the Gangdesi or Kailash ranges run for some 400 miles from Kailash eastward till they blend into the Nyantian Tangla. But going back to Julian and what he's been able to do, he came initially to one of our base camps in a range called the Lorimbo Kangri, and did some work on a particular unclimbed pyramid peak there. And this was for a relatively short time before he went on, and we, as it turned out, joined him at Mount Kailash, and we all did the Kora around Mount Kailash. And I found it a quite extraordinary place. The linking of the Buddhist faith with their landscape is a unique thing. I don't think there's any other faith in the world that has that landscape link, and it's really so obvious in Kailash, but also it dates back to pre-Buddhist times when the shaman or Bonpo people, who only make up 3% of the population of Tibet now, were the original reverers of high places, which must have all been to do with, of course, altitude and dreaming, all these things, and a lot of that was taken by Buddhists.
Yeah, it's called the Kora, which is the pilgrim's route clockwise around the mountain, exactly how you go around the stupa that we've just been to this morning.
Yeah.
Always clockwise, unless you're a member of the Bon religion. But
it was important.
Traditional pilgrim's route is clockwise around the mountain, starting at Darshan.
And it's important to do that. It's important.
Well, I mean, that was part of my fascination with the mountain, that it's a natural object, treated like a temple or something, or treated like a religious object.
Yeah.
The first day, nothing could be organised except I could get going, put all my painting kit, start this Kora path, which I found early in the morning, and went for about 2 hours up onto a ridge and then down into this amazing plain, flat plain, and gradually the south face of the mountain came into view. Absolutely amazing. This white hulk gradually coming into view. I went as far as I could, leaving enough time to do a painting, the first painting. Very special place. The four faces of the mountain roughly face south, east, north and west, which is another coincidence of the place. It's my own fault, but I have invented this stretcher system that is light and portable, but it does take a long time to set up. It takes about an hour, actually, usually. A lot of wing nuts to screw together, but it's quite useful because while you're screwing this thing up and you just attend to the practical assembly of this canvas on a stretcher business, I'm sort of glancing at the subject all the time, now and again, and taming it down to a practical level. You know, it's kind of, I'm associating with, right, I'm assembling this kit and the palette and with pegs, pegging the palette out with a bit of canvas, large bit of canvas, stuff like that, assembling, putting the tripod, securing this canvas thing with webbing to the tripod, because everything is potentially going to blow away. Everything's got to be tied down to the ground. It's not so much to do with making a painting as connecting with the subject and plugging into in this case, to the mountain, almost like plugging a cable at one end into the mountain, the other end into your memory, so that it enters the memory by the process of actually painting it. Sometimes the result is good, sometimes it's indifferent, but each time you're pretty sure that a hell of a lot of information has gone in there from having to have done the painting.
Namo
And after all, I'm going. The return back home is that's where I've come from. I don't belong here, and it's in those terms that I'll be making these paintings, not in any borrowed Eastern Asian language. So there's got to be some transformation between what I've seen and felt and experienced, and what gets made in terms of someone doing something, making some kind of art in the Western tradition. I mean, that's where I'm coming from. That's where I'm going back to. But what keeps me going with these sort of paintings is the possibility that this isn't going to be a conventional painting. This is just a stage towards something that I personally haven't seen before. A kind of a complex pattern of paint on a surface, which happens to coincide with a particular mountain that exists in reality. In other words, a reconstruction of something by means of marks informed by all sorts of stuff. In this case, apart from the physical characteristics, the religious aspect, the geographical aspect, the significance of the four main rivers of South Asia coming from around this mountain. All this sort of seemingly irrelevant stuff, but something that speaks very clearly and loudly in its own language, the language of marks and paint, colour, that is as unmistakably powerful as the mountain itself. And so meaning somehow comes in sideways, other meaning, apart from mimetic representation of what's the eye is seeing. I mean, that's the exciting thing for me. When I look at a rock or a mountain, I know exactly how it feels to be going up it. It's not just a visual thing. So, but it's not important as a sport or no. Yeah, no, I'm glad to. I don't have to climb to be among the mountains. I'm glad I've got this other way of being among mountains. If your only way is climbing them, then you're sort of condemned to gradually fail.